Hi, welcome back. So we are in Chapter 4 FSP V01 project at the outline workflow of the project. We have established the research question. We understand what we are up to do and what is the target at the end. Now let's go ahead and try actually to mock up the application and its process. Once again, we're going to be focusing on Istanbul stock market, which is important to understand the background of the market itself. I leave this for you because this is just an illustration on the idea. Now, basically in Istanbul stock market, we have an official website, so to speak, that contain all the information that you need to understand about the available market, as a public companies are in there. The actual categorization happens to be by sectors, of 72 sectors or so. And basically, each one of these sectors are mapping to a certain company. So another word to say, let's say this is the sector block. And we have the companies block. So for example, you have like around 500 company or so. How the categorization happened, that according to the official website, which I'm gonna call the CAP website, offer you all the information that you need to know about each sector and what are the companies that entitle within that. So for example, this sector happens to be telecommunication sector, another sector food and beverage, another one oil and company, mining, etc. And basically, if this company, the nature of business of the company happens to be, for example, belong to transportation, so you expect that this sector will have this company under its umbrella. At the same time, there are some companies, and many of them actually happens to be actually two or more sectors, actually not only one sector. So in other words to say, for example, it could be this company under the umbrella of sector 1, 2, and maybe another number of sectors. So, and the sector itself could have not only one company, could have many other companies, which is of course logical thing to think. So this sector could have this company and this company, maybe, and the other company. So you could see the relationship here is many to many, using the language of database arrangement. So what we want to do actually, we want first of all to establish a basement for our application to hold this kind of behaviors. We want to go to CAP and try to actually extract the information about these available sectors. Now, there are many ways to do that. I think in CAP official website, they offer you kind of CSV file that contains this information in terms of the number of sectors and the companies. But I prefer also to work on the web itself. So using scrapping mechanism, maybe we can scrap the website, reaching out to the available information and to try to organize the information by ourselves. I would love to capsulate all the information inside some sort of a JSON file. And this JSON file will then hold the information I want. Let me first of all take you to CAP, the official website, and see from there. Now, this is the official website that hold all the information about the market or stock market for Istanbul. Now, if you would have to look at the companies per sector, you could see now all the sectors are on the left-hand side here. And if you click at any one of them, it will lead you to the holding table that contained, for example, 12 company. But interestingly, at this company, for example, if you pick only one company, it's not only under the sector, so perhaps could be on some other sectors. For example, on a wholesale and trade, choose, for example, this company here. You would see that this company belonged to wholesale and retail trade, to wholesale trade, another sector. So there are two different sectors, so to speak. So what we want to do actually, we need to reach out to this website and try first of all to get all these sectors out, and then after that get all the companies out in each one of these sectors. What are the companies are actually under? So this is our first task, so to speak, to actually establish the business source of information. In the next session, we will be actually discussing much more in details how we will do that. You could see this has nothing to do with our GUI. Not yet. We are just preparing the ground. That's why I said this application is going to be much more technical. Even the idea of organizing the code and putting some of the information, we're going to use much more advanced technique rather than the first application. So this could be quite a bit industrial standard, so to speak. I expect by the end the JSON file will be like a dictionary, and you have two important keys: the name of the sector, for example, and the second key will hold a list, and in that list we'll have the companies that are actually inside that sector. Inside there is another dictionary, would look like for example, the company name and the code of the company. So we will have all the information about the Istanbul stock market. This is our first step. Before that, we can talk about nothing. And the second task, why don't we go and take this JSON file and convert that into some sort of a database where we need then to connect this database. Of course, the GUI will be available. Instead of, I could have actually dealt with the JSON file directly instead of database, but I think I need that because later on, if we create a profile for a customer, I think we need database rather than JSON, and faster, of course. This is where I'm gonna choose with SQLite 3. So if we convert this JSON file into a database, that means we're gonna create number of tables. Because this is a many-to-many relationship, we would have like a kind of a sector table, company table, and another table called sector company table. These are important information you have to know. So this is our next task, to do that. Then we can speak about the second step. What is the fingerprint and how we're gonna be dealing with that, or what are the GUI would look like then. I think before it is important also to discuss an important meta setup of the project. The skeleton should be actually it's the same. So I am inside the same exact folder. I will use the exact arrangement of the two virtual environments. So I will be calling this FSP a project which has the exact same skeletons before. However, I will be adding some extra important things inside this skeleton. The most important one called the config file, which is going to hold a lot of important information such as password and database also samples. But the original skeleton, the requirement, the README, the TOML file license, etc., these are still the same. So I'm not going to repeat that again. And the connect of the CLI to the main GUI module is the same, where we're gonna, inside here, we will have actually the main file that hold the actual presentation of the main window. So I hope all this information are clear to you. Let's go ahead now and try actually to work on this step by creating a scrapping module that's gonna actually go to Istanbul stock market and try to bring back the information, put it on a JSON file. Then we can take that JSON file and convert that into a database. That's exactly what we're going to do next. I will see you then.